Right. Move this to the right place. Hello everybody, how are we doing? It's the 24th, you believe it or not, if that means anything in your country. It's nice to see a few people joining in straight away. I wasn't sure if anyone was going to be around or not. Hello Pramod, hello Rosalina, Frank, Merry Christmas. How are we all? So I thought I have a little bit of time before I need to do anything. By the way, let me know if the audio is any good. I haven't really fiddled with the settings much. It might be alright, it should be alright. So I thought what we might try and do is let's do some live scraping. Hello Nair, hello from Israel. Wow, nice to have a worldwide outreach. Hello, hello everyone, hello. So what I thought I would try and do is, I've done this before but not for a while. I thought I'd see what information we can get from the Steam store. Might be quite a fun project. Cheers, by the way. I'm sure I'm allowed to drink on stream. Right. Let's see what we got here. Originally, I wanted to try and get the data from the winter sale, but it doesn't seem to be. It seems to just be dumped in front of me like this. So I'm not really sure whether this is useful or not. I was hoping they had a category for it. Top sellers. 75%. Oh, there we go. It loads up eventually. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hello, Ian. Right. So we got two things we want to decide. Whether we're going to try and do this page. Let's have a look. And what, how we're going to do it. Whether we're just going to create our own one from scratch, or whether we're going to use Scrapy. Whether we're going to need to render the page. Hopefully not. Should be able to just get the HTML. Right. What we got here? Main content. Home page. Featured. Hi from India. Hello. Thank you for joining. Featured page content. Yeah. Featured franchises. Let's see if we can get to something a bit better. Top sellers. No, let's go to the sale. Let's go to the sale page. Where is it? They changed everything. I'm sure there was a sale category somewhere. Well, this might work. Got lots of pages. Top sellers. There we go. How many top sellers have we got? Okay. Infinite scroll. That might be a bit of a problem. Where's the one with pages? We'll start on this and see how far we get. Let's pick a category. This one will do. Right. So to start this, I would always inspect element first, see what we're working with. So this is what we're looking for. We want to get all of it in one go. Tab content, that looks about right to me. Top sellers table, see it's all still highlighted, keep going, here we go. So now we have all of these down this side. We can see it highlights them as I scroll down. There. So we got it's not very friendly to read this, but we should have a class. Okay, we've got impression tracked. So I guess that is, where's that one? That's the first one, okay. Do they all say that? Yeah. Right. Cool. What's this one? Right. Let's give it a go. Let's create a new directory. Steam sale. And let's do our virtual environment of Python 3 VENV. For some reason, my virtual environments take a little while to create on my WSL for the moment. I don't know why. I never used to do that, but it does now, which is a bit of a pain. So we'll just have to wait. But I reckon this will be a good page to get because we can go ahead and we can get the, we see we've got original price and final price, so we'll be able to get both of those, hopefully. I'll tell you what I'll do first is I'll just copy this and we'll just check that it works. There we go, got that. So let's just quickly do this and let's just give it our URL and then print. Let's put it into Beautiful Soup and check that if it works this way, then it will work and we can put it into Scrapy and create a bit of a nicer project. Then let's say soup is equal to our Beautiful Soup and then r.text, html.parser. Cool, and then a good test is always soup.title.text, because if you get the actual title of the website, browsing action, yeah, that seems to be right, though you know it kind of works, whereas if you get something generic, did you see my email? Did you see my email? Say my name, please. That's all a bit strange. Zibram, how are you doing? I check my emails as much as I can, mate. I get quite a few. It's hard to answer them all. I try and get around to them, but I've got all my own work to do, etc., etc. Do not have to use a user agent for this. I'm going to go without. It's going to work for the moment. You can do. It's better to do so because you then identify yourself as an actual user more. You don't have to. If it works without, it's okay. If I was going to create this to keep to do a reoccurring scrape, I would definitely use a user agent, yeah. But just for this one time, I'm going to leave it. I'm fine. How are you? I'm good, man. I'm good. I have a spare bit of time before my plans for the rest of the evening kick off. So I thought I'd do a bit of scraping. Right, let's start our virtual environment up. So source VENV, which is what I called it, bin activate. Remember, this is all Linux commands. If you don't know how to use Linux, I would recommend you learn it, basically. You can do all of this on Windows, and that's absolutely fine. But I'm using, my main OS is Windows, and I'm using the WSL. So this is like the Windows subsystem for Linux. Cool, so let's install Scrapy, and we're going to try and get Scrapy project going. And hopefully, within a reasonable amount of time, i.e. before I need to go, we'll be able to get some data off this page. Hello Nilesh, how are you? Thank you for joining. What we got? I don't think we'll go for all 2,254 pages. I think that might take a little while, but we'll do a proof of concept first. Thanks for sharing, man. No worries. Do you know, I quite enjoy it. I always I found that when I was learning, it was always kind of, once you've learned something, if you share it with people, it gets stuck into your brain a lot better. So once I've try and pass it on. Have I watched John Wick? I haven't actually. I don't tend to watch that many films anymore. I used to, but not so much. It's nearly installed. It takes a while. What are you guys up to today? Anything interesting? What are you working on? Anything good? I found Scrapy harder to interpret. Yeah, it is a bit. There's more to it. But with more to it, you get more things that you can do with it, which is why I like it. The sort of, for projects like what I'm about to do, this is more of like proof of concept, as I said. So to do this the simplest form, I wouldn't use Scrapy, but Scrapy just gives you so many more things you can do. Do you have any online course? No, I don't, not at the moment. I'm in the process of doing one. I've started. There's an awful lot of things that I want to put into it, and I'm trying to work out what the best way to lay it all out. So it will come, but it will take a while. Stuck at scraping websites loaded from CSS. What do you mean loaded from CSS? CSS is just styling. Are we nearly there? Still waiting. Oh, this is slow. Can you scrape images with beautiful sort? Yes, you can. You can pull out the image URL from the image tags, which is nice and easy. I've got a video on that. The problem arises when most of the main image websites that you're probably looking at have either got some kind of protection for scraping, or all the content's loaded dynamically, so you can't just scrape the HTML and get all the image URLs and then save the files. I've got a video on how to do the basic way, which is what I just described, which works on some sites, but not ones like the main ones. I forget what they're called. Unsplash actually has an API, which is quite cool, which I've not totally looked into, but okay, cool. So let's do start project, Steam sale. Oh, use Selenium. Yeah, you can use Selenium. That might work. Depends what you're trying to do. I would, depending on what it is, follow my video about scraping Amazon with using request HTML. That'll render the page for you. Or Selenium or Splash, depending on how much work you're doing. Selenium's more like automation though, browser automation, which is it's not ideal for scraping, although it does work. And I do use it for scraping sometimes, because sometimes you just need to load the page up, click on something, and then get some data. Let's create a spider. Let's call it Steam Spider, and we need the URL store.steampower.com. There we go. Captures is a whole other thing. I know a few ways, but I don't really know. I don't really want to comment on captures too much at the moment. I know a few ways to break them, but it's not really. Generally speaking, if it's got a capture, you're not supposed to be doing it. So like, I don't know. I'd rather not do it, to be honest, at the moment. It can be done though. Where are we? Cool. Let's open up VS Code here then, and where's my spider? I saw I did one. Let's get going. You should do a video like a day in the life of. Do you know what? I see people do those, and I don't totally. Some of them are interesting and entertaining, but especially right now with coronavirus, a day in my life is quite boring, man. I think people would like flip off really quickly, because I don't really do an awful lot, to be honest. I sit here and work. That's about it. My spider. Why haven't I got my spider? That's annoying. Sure, we generated it. That's weird. Not to worry. We'll go back to the this is what happens when you spend all your time and you don't actually ever remember the actual code. You'll have to go and copy it back from the tutorial all the time. Normally I just use the generate spider and it does it all for me, but for some reason it didn't. Where's the one that has the yeah, that one. Here we go. No. Start requests. There we go. Let's just copy this. Why not? New folder, new file, Steam Spider. Let's paste that in. Right, cool. Let's get going. Do I still have it saved? No. Cool. Let's grab that. Let's put that in there. We don't need that. We don't need any of that. We just need that. And actually, we'll just go directly to this URL. So there's no messing around. Cool. And we'll delete this for the moment because we don't need any of that. We'll save that because that's always useful. Yeah, Gen Spider should work. It did. I did that. Look. Created Spider and it's not there. So I don't know why. Who knows? Difference between Beautiful Soup and Scrapy. Scrapy is a full framework. It does everything. You just need Scrapy. It does everything for you. You can add stuff into it. You can change the settings. You can clean data with it. Whereas Beautiful Soup is just a parser for HTML, essentially. Gen Spider will work. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I answered that. Hi, John. Yesterday I was scraping a site. Couldn't be rendered with request HTML. That's interesting. That's odd. Depending on... Because what request HTML does is it opens up, it uses a version of Puppeteer, which is basically a headless Chrome browser. So it does the same thing. It could have been blocked, yeah. If it worked with Selenium, I don't know, depends. I haven't come across that issue. What's my job? I have another job outside of YouTube, yeah. I don't web scrape for a living, but a lot of my work, I use a lot of these skills. And I have written spiders for my job before, for essentially getting data from things related to the industry. That's how I started with it, really. The thing, it always starts with a problem like, how can I do this or how can I get that? And then you find the solution. Fortunately for me, the company I worked for sort of just let me do it, which was good. I've completely lost track of what we're doing. Oh yeah. Right, so now what we've got is we've got kind of like our blank spider shell. So this is what we would run, but to find out what we need to get, we need to run, basically I find it easiest to run the shell, because this will just download this page for us. I'm not going to do it like that actually. This will basically download the page and then we can just interact with it. How's Scrape work? Cloudflare, yeah, I tend to, I don't really know how to get around Cloudflare all that well. There are ways, I know of them. If they go into that length to block you, you're not supposed to be there. So I don't really want to go into it too much, because obviously I know it's for educational purposes, but if I start teaching people how to break stuff, then especially with all that YouTube clamping down on the hacking videos, which again is educational, but I don't know. Right, does this work? Looks like it. This is the version of title.txt. There we go. I've lost it now, but in my browser, if you saw before when I did Python 3, I did the interactive, just the Python REPL, and I did Beautiful Soup, and then got the request, and I asked for the title with soup.title.txt. This is that version in Scrapy. So basically, what we're doing now is we're in the interactive shell, and we're just looking at this one page that we've downloaded, and we can actually work out what we need to get from it. So I'm going to say that where I want to be is I want to get all of these. So I might go into this one first, because I know on Steam they have other things like these down at the bottom sometimes have the same classes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up one. I'm going to say hopefully here in this top sellers table it doesn't have, it just has this button. Yeah, so that's what I want. So I'm going to go, and that's a div. So let's go, let's see if it works first. So that's all we need to do to get that information. Srikar, hello, hi John, how are you? I'm good, mate. How are you? What are you up to? Hope you're well. Okay, that didn't work. Div ID. Interesting. Oh, because it's a class. All right, we'll just do it this way, and that's fine. Let's see what we get with this. Or we could look in the docs, couldn't we? Can't remember how to get the things from the IT. YouTube removed 5 of my video that say it's dangerous. I make cybersecurity videos. Yeah, no, I've heard a lot about that. There was a few people that obviously in being interested into this, yeah, it's ID, not classy. I saw that. Yeah, being interested in this sort of thing, I used to watch quite a lot of the cybersecurity stuff. Some people still make it, and they do it quite well, and it's all right. But I think they've moved over to what's it called? Like the capture the flag stuff. I think they moved on to a lot of that. I haven't watched an awful lot of it recently, but yeah, I know YouTube are really clamping down on it. I can't remember how to get to the ID from the CSS. Anyone remember? Could use XPath, I suppose. Does that work? There we go. How was 2020 for me? Interesting. Interesting. Global pandemic. Obviously, not ideal. I also changed my life around quite a lot. So yeah. Okay, so now we can do, let's just call it games. Let's do it like this. That one. So we should be able to now do and now we should be able to get into here. Let's do that. Let's see if the A's come out first, unless I've made a mess of this. I haven't really been paying attention. It's kind of hard. I knew that from talking to people that coding and streaming at the same time was difficult, but I had no idea. My last few streams, I've basically just been chatting, which is a lot easier. Trying to work at the same time is kind of difficult, especially when I don't, when it's not just all in front of me and I just have to copy it over. What is the class of this? Oh dear, it's got a nice big space in the middle. Let's see what happens. Let's close that up. So we get the first one? Nope. Nothing. Hashtag ID. What, I can just put that in, can I? Started earning money doing scraping from using my... That's great, man. I'm glad. I'm really glad. I know there are... I don't actually do any freelance web scraping jobs, but I know there's loads out there. I look at them every now and again, and I just think, oh yeah, I look at some of them. I go, I've shown loads of people how to do this, so there's People should be able to make some money out of it. The hardest part is actually getting the job as opposed to doing it. I remember you said you prefer Beautiful Soup form mostly. Yeah, I do actually. I have used Scrapy a lot more recently. Obviously, I've been making more videos on it. Just because of the extra stuff that you can get with the framework. Like the integration with Splash is really good. The auto throttler is pretty cool, and you can one of my upcoming videos, I'll show you how to put it all into a database as well. It kind of just ties everything together quite neatly for you. Although having said that, just doing this, it would be much. I could probably have written it in Beautiful Soup already, to be fair. But I am talking at the same time. I'll tell you what. Let's I'll show you another thing that I'm working on at the moment. This is more for the beginners, the people that are still learning. But basically, I'm putting together just a single scraper template that you can just basically, it'll be on my GitHub, and you can just copy it down and you can just fill in the blanks for scraping basic HTML pages. Let me I'm getting distracted now. Let's move on. Let's get rid of that one. Let's just come in here. I'll show you this whilst I'm here. Always working on lots of things, but there's so many things I kind of just like, that's a really cool idea, I should do that. And I write it all down, pen and paper as well, not on the computer. And I just keep going back and I add a bit more. And sometimes things don't get finished, and unfortunately this was one of them. But I'll show you now. Reach for request HTML. Yeah, I really like that as well. It just works so easily. It's just no fuss. So this is my basic simple web scraper, I've called it, because I couldn't think of any other better name. And the idea is that you can just take this and you can just fill in the information that you need and run it, and the idea will work. Can I show you how to scrape a drop down list? Depends how the drop down list works. If it's just HTML, then it's probably just going to be in the HTML code. If it's JavaScript, it's going to be a bit more difficult. So let's give this a whirl. Let's put that in there. We'll comment out the output one for the moment. This is a work in progress, by the way. I love the callback function for pagination scrape. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's really useful. Although I think because you can write all that and you can write all that by yourself in a Py file that you've decided to. You can do that as well, which is quite cool. You definitely need to know what you're doing first before you move on to Scrapy. So you need to be able to write it all, not all of it, obviously, not the really complicated stuff, but you need to be able to write a decent basic scraper yourself. And then when you move on to Scrapy, you're like, okay, this is this bit, this is this bit, this is how this fits in. And then you can just go from there. Right. So here's our main list, and this is our sort of products, if you like. I'm going to change this. I'll leave it as products, actually. Makes no difference. And let's grab this. Let's put that in there. Change that to ID, because that's what we're using. And if we just fill in... I haven't actually tested this, so this will be interesting to know if this falls flat on its face. I'm trying to make it as sort of like... easy to understand and sort of as work with as possible, so people can just fill in their own information. Where's the name? Oh, down here. Price. We'll get the original price at the moment. I'll show you how I can do the discounts in a minute. Let's try that, and we'll get rid of these ones for now. Don't need those. Have you heard of Web Harvey? I haven't. It's a web scraping GUI tool. Oh, right. No, I haven't heard of it. Have you used it? I'm always wary of things, of some things like that, to be honest, because I don't know. There's the I mean, I've been meaning to try the Chrome browser extension as well. I haven't tried that. Have you tried that yet? Always makes me think though, because they just want you to end up paying for it because you only get a certain amount of requests. Started scraping in PHP. Ooh. Yeah, build most. Yeah. Build mostly everything on my own. Yeah, so do I. I looked at PHP once when I was learning to code when I was a lot younger. Didn't like it. I actually started learning to code with a language called Pascal. Use product.find. You are using find all. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that needs to be changed. What is that? There we go. A couple more adjustments. How to work with the load more button while scraping. Depends how it works. Some of them have, generally speaking, you're going to need to interact with that page with your browser. Sometimes you can work it out. You can go to the network tab on the inspect element, and when you click it, sometimes all it does is just load up the next sort of response page, and you can use pagination to go through that. Otherwise, you do need to click on it. I meant inside the loop. Don't know what .find here. Hello, Mohammed. Hello, welcome. I'm getting super distracted. It's really hard to code and talk at the same time. This is just going to fall flat on his face, I can tell. Oh, well, we'll have a good time either way. Right, let's have a quick look. So obviously I wrote this as a template out, and now I'm just filling in some data. So this should work fine, right? We give it our URL. There's some headers. There's our request. If we don't get a 200 response, we return nothing. Else we return the .text from our response. That's good. Then we take that and we put it into our pass, and we I'll make it bigger. And there we have, put it into Beautiful Soup, create a blank list, our main products, which we're going to call products for now. We're going to find the div of the ID of top seller rows, which is here. And then within that, for each thing in that, we're going to go for the div class. Okay, let's print that. And we're going to ignore output for the moment. You tried to scroll on my VS Code. Yes, good. Line 20 should be find all. I think it's just going to be find because there is only one. So we're going here and then we're going to look inside each thing for it. I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens. What have I done wrong? Please show example of a load more button. So it's there we go. Someone is definitely yeah, Paco's definitely paying a lot more attention to my code than I am. So we managed to get one. Let's do dot text at the end. Gaming boy, another. Okay. Hello, mate. How are you? Alright, sorry guys, I'm really not paying attention to this at all. So I think this is not going to work because we want to loop through each one of the products and not through there. So we want to do our let's collapse this one. We need to do our find all on this. So we find all of these and then we go for that information. Are you working as a freelancer in Python script? I'm not. No, not at the moment. I would do. However, I'm just busy all the time with my own job and doing YouTube and all that sort of stuff. It's hard to getting the jobs for freelancing is hard. Doing them isn't so much. Just getting them is, because you got to compete with so many people. If you're interested in it though, pick some like really simple ones and just apply, I would say. Right. So I think if they all have tab item content, we should just go for that. Stream while coding is a pain. Yeah, I'm finding that out now. Trying to interact and talk to people and concentrate on what I'm doing is proving to be quite difficult. I think I might stick to question and answers in the next time round. I thought it might be fun to do a little project. This is something I was thinking about when I saw the Steam Winter Sale come up. Not that I play a lot of games anymore. You didn't tell me what your job is. I work for an e-commerce company. So we run loads and loads of online stores. Right. Okay, discount original price, didn't find it. That's because that isn't in there. It's in there. So I am going to have to do this one. Let's try closing it. I don't know if we can do this in here. Let's try closing it up. Is this a paid project? No, this is just for fun. What CMS do you use in your stores, Magento 2 or others? All of the stores I work with are Shopify. And then we have a back end that links them up all together with the inventory and whatnot. So I write some simple integrations with the back end system, and I also do code some Shopify apps, really basic ones. More like if you wanted a complete Shopify app to do something, as in, I can't think of any at the moment off the top of my head, but say you needed an actual thing to work properly all the time, we would outsource them, those jobs. But I do, like one-off type things. Oh, on this store, we need to do all this, and this. Can you just get it done so I can do it? So I've done a lot of work with the Shopify API. And I am butchering this. It's hard concentrating. So I managed to get all the names. So that means I'm not looking in the right place for the prices. Anyone watching this back, this is not a tutorial. I'm actually going to do another video on this, and I'm going to do it properly. It'll be much better than this. We might as well just turn this into a Q&A. Live streaming is better than recorded videos. It's good for a lot of things. I like it. I like live streaming. I have to do front end and back end dev in Magento too most of the time, and maintain around 150,000 SKUs. Wow. Yikes. We used to use Magento, but a long time ago. It was rubbish. We didn't like it. 150k SKUs, that's a lot. I think we're on 60, 70. Okay. I try and remove them though as soon as they're done. You like Q&A? Yeah, so do I. I find it it's much easier. It's much more fun because you can you're here because you want to be able to interact, not just to watch me fail at coding basic web scrapers. Can you build a Shopify store for a client? I'd love to take on paid work, but I really can't at the moment. I have got so much going on. I just couldn't. I couldn't commit. I wouldn't be able to do it. I need downtime, to be honest, as well. I don't like working loads and loads of hours in the day. I've done it enough in my life. Right, so in here where I'm looking, we're not finding the price. That's probably because of this one says free to play, right? Oh no, discount final price. Let's stick that in as well. This is the other downside about not using Scrapy, because in Scrapy, when you use the items in the item loader, if you watch my last video that came out yesterday, if the information's not there, it doesn't do anything. Whereas here, you need to do some kind of error handling for it. And I always do try and accept because it's easy. It's not ideal though. I wouldn't put this into a production project unless you really, really needed it. That didn't work either. Oh, there we go. So we're getting some prices. What's the first one? It's probably because Red Dead Online. See, it's picking up. Let's try this. Discount original price. So we want to do not go to the desktop. No one needs to see my desktop. Is it a store for merchandise stuff? Oh, it is a store. Drop shipping. Oh, cool. Cool. We run stores on behalf of clients, so it's normally their merchandise. Can you talk through how you decide to scrape a site? Yeah. Basically, I look at the first thing I decide is, do I just need this data now, for now, and that's it, one off, or do I need this to be able to replicate it? Because if you only need to have it once off, you can just fudge through the errors if you want to. If it's not there, just put something in its place and you can just make it work. Whereas if it's going to have to run continuously, you need to have proper error handling for everything that comes up. So you see this one, this is a good example of that. Because I didn't find the original discount price straight away, I've gone and put in, it must be free to play, but it's not, because some of them aren't discounted. So you would want to have see, this one isn't. You'd want to have a good way to deal with all of this data. So you need to have a good way to. This is why Scrapy is really good for this, because you can put this all in at the actual on the item class level, and you can have it handle it all for you. So that's really helpful. If I'm just doing a one-off scraper, which a lot of people do, I would then check what the site looks like. Is it JavaScript? Is it dynamic? Or is it HTML? If it's HTML, it's going to be so simple, because you just have to go through the HTML and get the information out that you want. If it's a table as well, you can just use pandas sometimes and just pull the table out in 2 lines. Because most people that want scraping done, they just want it. They want, oh, can you get me all the data off this website and give it to me in Excel or CSV? Because that's how they know how to manipulate data, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's nice and easy. So have a look and see what I did at the very beginning of this video, where I put the URL into, just did a quick Python script to see what came back when I did it first, and I saw that I got the right info back. That's how I determine. Or you can use you can disable JavaScript on your browser as well. Excuse me, sorry. And then if the information's there, if you need to render JavaScript, you got a few choices. The request HTML, which is the Puppeteer browser, that will work. Although I don't think it's been updated for a while, it's worked flawlessly for me. Or you can use Splash. Splash is good. That's the actual proper scraping browser from Scraping Hub, I think. Same people that made Scrapy. I think that's them. That works really well, but you need Docker for that. But you can just use Docker Desktop on Windows. It's quite resource heavy, but we've all got decent PCs pretty much nowadays, or good enough. So yeah. Or if that doesn't work, Selenium. Although I prefer not to do that. And I don't use Selenium directly. I use Helium because it's just so much easier to write. You can just click on this and it works pretty much. Are you streaming this content more often? This was YouTube recommendation, but I'm just entering in the middle. I'm going to try and stream as much as I can. Yeah. It's more difficult because I just jumped on today because I had some time to kill and I thought I would do something and see who's about. But I prefer to let people know and schedule it so people can actually come and watch and get something out of it. Otherwise, it's just me chatting rubbish for hours and hours or not. And yeah, but this will be up on my YouTube afterwards. I don't see why I wouldn't put it up. I'll try and stream more and more, but as I said, it's been really busy for me recently work-wise, and I really do want to keep my videos coming out on YouTube. I've been getting some good responses with it, so it's quite cool. Have you heard of WayScript? It's a platform where you can run cloud for free. I haven't heard of that, no. I use, I have a DigitalOcean droplet that I have a virtual Linux machine on the cloud because I use it for various different things. It costs me like $5 a month or something. It doesn't really make any difference. Or as someone said, you can use a Raspberry Pi. I've got a Raspberry Pi, but unfortunately I've got a Pi 1. It's it's literally the first one. I think it might have even been near like the first batch, and it's really slow, really, really slow. It's not an advert, by the way, just like it. And that's fine. We are more than happy to talk about different technologies and companies and programs here. Not a problem. I'll have a look into it. You can schedule on cron jobs, etc. It's a cool platform. Yeah. If you guys are getting into this sort of thing, or you want to scrape and you're learning all about this, learning Linux is definitely worthwhile. I think I said it at the beginning of the video. And a Raspberry Pi is a good way to do that, or the WSL, which is what I use. I did use Linux full-time for a few years on my main machine, which was great. I really like it. Doesn't work so well with some hardware. And then basically I had to go back to Windows for two reasons. One was because working from home, I needed to use some proprietary software, and instead of hooking up my work laptop to my screens every time, I just use my own machine. And then I decided to play some games with my mates as well. Someone is standing behind you. No, someone's standing behind you. Right, I should probably finish this. So we need to go one of these two, or free to play, right? Final price. So let's just put that there. Put that there. That there. Cool. So let's say try that, accept, or then try that. then accept. This is kind of untidy. Or actually, is that in, we should find out what element that's in. Oh, it's in discount final price. Well, there you go, perfect. Here we go. Oh, we still failed. What have I done wrong? So the one after this one didn't work. Project Wingman. Where's that? Not on there. Great. What do you do for a living? I just talked about my job quite a lot. Basically, I work for an e-commerce company and I do a lot of things, data analysis, inventory analysis, and some Shopify coding, like with the API and whatnot. What do you do for a living? Let's put another accept in here just so I can get this out of the way. So I'm going to be streaming for maybe another half an hour, I reckon. And then I'm going to have to go. So if you've got any more questions you want to ask me, go ahead. In case you hadn't realised, I've kind of given up on the coding. I've lost my train of thought. You can't do 2 tries, of course. What's wrong with you there? One more try, yeah. I know. Like I just said, I kind of lost my. I've kind of lost my train of thought here. I've been reading the text. I'm at the point where I'm probably going to give up on this and then just finish it off later. It's because if you look at the list of games that are coming up, it's because I'm picking up data from other places as well. You look like an MMA fighter. I really don't. If you see me in person, I would get squashed by anybody in the ring, in the octagon. You can use an if statement below the first try. Yeah, I could do, yeah. Let's have a look at it's because I'm picking up these as well. Maybe not that one. Definitely a lot of them. How do I feel about freelancing? Yeah, I think it's good. A lot of people say a lot of negative things about it. It's not easy. I think, as I said just a minute ago, doing the actual work's probably the easiest part. The hardest thing that I think that stops people really getting into freelancing is that you have to not only be a developer or programmer, you also have to be able to sell yourself. You have to keep on top of managing your clients, and those are all just different skill sets, which just makes it really difficult to learn. Do you watch any Indian YouTubers? I definitely have. I don't think I do. I don't think I do at the moment. I was definitely watching a few. It's really bad. I don't tend to remember who I've watched. I guess that doesn't make me that great a YouTuber, I suppose. Yeah, there's definitely one guy I was watching who had some really good information. I wish I could give him a shout out, but I can't remember. If I remember rightly, I think he had like 500,000 subs, so I don't think he needs a shout out from me. Well, I've completely lost track of what I was doing here. Once I've tidied this all up and got it working, do you think it's a good idea? So I could sort of put out a scraping template for people to use for beginners. Obviously, if you've done this thing plenty of times, you don't need to. But just sort of like make sure you do these type of things. I'll flesh it out with some more comments of what to put in where. And then I was going to tidy up my GitHub a bit. It's a bit sort of mishmash with loads of projects everywhere at the moment. I'm really bad with looking after it and uploading to it, which is really not good, because you should keep on top of your GitHub. You should upload all your code there and make sure it's all nice and tidy, especially if you're looking for work. But I was going to create a new project where I put all of my like single use web scrapers for people to sort of have a look at and take. I thought that was quite a cool idea. That's one of the things I'm working on at the moment. Another thing is putting everything, carrying on with my Scrapy series. So I've got 3 videos at the moment. The only problem is with those, they're quite niche. So although I feel like the information is useful, they're just not really searched for by a lot of people. So you don't get a huge view response to your the effort you put in. But I definitely think it's worth carrying on. I will do. I'm going to do databases next, I think. Sort of a logical step. Do I play the guitar? Yes, not really anymore. I played guitar a lot when I was younger. I went to music college to play guitar, which was fun. I have 6 guitars and I play not very often anymore. I like to have them. I like to live. I played in a band a little while ago, covers band locally, which was really good fun. An excuse to go out more than anything. What time is it? 4:30. How long have we been going for? That's about an hour. I think I'm going to knock it on the head there, actually. It's nearly 4:30 and I need to be leaving in about half an hour. So I've been going for about an hour, which is quite cool. Not bad for an impromptu stream. My idea of, coding out a web scraper whilst chatting to you guys really fell on its face. So I don't think I'll do that again. I think what I'll do in the future is maybe go through one that I've already written out and explain what I did. That's probably going to be better, because this is just, I need my full attention to my code and trying to look, and I should imagine that if I'm doing that, there's going to be periods of about 5 minutes where I'm just staring at the screen. It's probably not going to be that exciting to watch. In fact, it isn't that exciting to watch. So kudos to people that can do live coding streams well. I can't yet, so we will have to revisit that sometime. But nevertheless, it's been a good fun hour, so thank you to everybody that's dropped by. I'll definitely do more of these, but again, we'll do them in a different way. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Thanks for stopping by, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next one. See you later. Bye.